Thank you, Presiding Officer. I am pleased to be able to speak in this important debate this afternoon on the Scottish Rates Resolution Settlement as a member of the Parliament's Finance and Constitution Committee. I'd like to focus my points
Just a wee minute,
afternoon.
Ms Harper. I know we're short of time. Please don't carry on a conversation across the chamber when somebody's speaking. Ms Harper, please.
Thank you. I'd like to focus my points this afternoon on income tax, as well as the uncertainty Brexit has and indeed is continuing to cause for businesses and our economy, areas which I have participated in the analysis as part of the committee membership. And, Presiding Officer, as members will know, in this budget for 2019 to 20, income tax remains partially a devolved tax, with the responsibility for defining the income tax base, including the changing or setting of income tax reliefs and exemptions such as the personal allowance, being matters reserved to the UK Government at whichever rate it chooses to set the bands for these areas at. However, the Scotland Act of 2016 did give the Scottish Parliament the power to set all income tax rates, as well as the thresholds of bands that apply to the non-savings, non-dividend income of Scottish taxpayers. And that income tax paid to HMRC by Scottish taxpayers is then given to the Scottish Government. And I'm pleased to see a commitment from HMRC to ensure that their database of Scottish taxpayers is kept up to date and regularly checked. And I would ask the Scottish Government to ensure that this HMRC commitment is honoured. The income tax bands set out by Scottish Government ensure that middle to lower earning taxpayers, such as the majority of nurses, teachers, social workers and healthcare professionals, remains protected. And this has been delivered by an inflationary increase in the starter and basic rate bands, as well as through no changes to rates of tax. And I remind Chamber that I am a nurse, but it means that, for example, that nurses in receipt of a Band 5 salary of between £22,128 and £28,746, the majority of nurses, 68% when last reported in 2016, 68% will either be on the proposed Scottish basic rate of tax, paying 20% in rates, or will be on an intermediate rate of tax, paying just 21%. Therefore, this means that nurses on a starter Band 5 rate will be paying the lowest tax levels across the whole of the UK for a person on this rate of income, which is welcome and actually fair. In honouring the Government's commitment to fairness and equality across all aspects of taxation policy, while at the same time raising additional revenue to invest in public services and the economy, I'm pleased the Scottish Government has proposed a freeze of the higher rate tax thresholds, freezing the proposed higher rate threshold of £43,000, and the top rate will remain frozen at £150,000. I mention this step as it allows Scotland to remain an attractive place for business, an attractive place to grow our skilled workforce, as well as an attractive place for the higher rate earners to remain in Scotland. And in doing so, it allows the Scottish economy to continue to grow, particularly as we are now seeing an ageing population on the rise and the need for inward migration, particularly into our NHS and social care, and as well as our agricultural sectors. Presiding Officer, attracting people to live, work and study in Scotland is crucial for our economy, and I would be wrong not to mention the impact of Brexit and its having on our Scottish rate settlement and the uncertainty it has caused for businesses and the economy. The Finance and Constitution Committee's report on the 2019-20 budget highlights the problems Brexit has caused for our economy. The report shows that since November 2016, the OBR's forecasts have reflected provisional broad brush adjustments to incorporate the possible impact of Brexit. These are notably that trade intensity, net inward migration and business investment and productivity growth would be weaker than would otherwise have been if the case should have been that the UK voted to remain part of the EU. Indeed, the OBR told the committee that they had a forecast prior to the referendum showing that, assuming there would be a vote to remain in the EU, the economy would grow by roughly 4.5% between the time of the referendum and now. That's staggering. Should the people of the rest of the UK, and I say the rest of the UK because Scotland voted to remain by 62%, if the rest of the UK had decided to have remained part of the world's most successful union and single market, we would have seen a sharp rise in our economic prosperity. But instead, we're seeing businesses leave the UK a fall in consumer confidence and a negative impact on the economy. Therefore, in my view, reaffirming the need for Scotland to remain part of the Customs Union single market, as well as maintaining free movement of people for the interest and benefit of our economy, is absolutely what we need to support. Presiding Officer, in conclusion, I'd like to put on record my support for the Scottish Government's proposed budget for 2019-20, as it allows for Scottish taxpayers on average salaries to remain protected while also remaining the lowest taxed in the UK. This budget allows for Scotland to have some stability, particularly in a time of Brexit uncertainty, and for Scotland to remain a welcoming and attractive place for businesses, workers and families to come live, work and study, which is key for our economic success. Thank you.
Thank you very much.